What part of this intro gives you a little bit of anxiety? Is it the like before how it was working out?
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna slip back into it, and you're just like setting me up. You're just kind of making it seem like, yeah, we're gonna be normal, and you're just gonna go back one day and get me on.
The panic's gonna kick in.
Yeah, so that's my anxiety, man.
Well, episode number 93 of the Shant and Ari podcast. Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
I'm good. I'm good. A couple of the agents on my team actually been giving me a lot of shit about the podcast.
Ooh, tell me a little bit. What kind of shit are they? Can we
First
take
of
a
all,
second to just? Can you take a look at my beard and hair situation? I look pretty clean right now. No?
when you went to the barber, I'm guessing. Like, what do you?
Yeah,
What do you?
got back
Okay.
actually.
Yeah. So if you guys, anyone listening, definitely hop on YouTube so you can see Adi's shape up because it's
In high
awesome.
def. So tell me, why are they giving you shit about the podcast?
Yeah, so some of them like they had no clue, right? Had a podcast, and then they're just like, "Yo, when are you going to get me on? Like, what's going on? Why haven't I been invited on to the podcast?" So
Do they want to come on?
yeah, there's a couple agents that want to come on.
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down. I want to get. If they want to get shit on. So we should dedicate an episode at some point to Tinder. I've matched the same girl 3 times or 4 times across different dating app platforms, and I keep on ignoring her. But I don't mean to. I'm so bad at this shit. I wish that you had some experience with Tinder
Yeah.
or Bumble or whatever. There's just I wish I could take some pointers from somebody. Like, I want to respond to her. I wouldn't mind taking her out on a date. And it turned out she already matched with like 2 or 3 of my friends already. I'm like at the bar, me and my buddy, and he goes, "Oh, look, like I just matched with this cute girl." And I'm not saying anything, but like, yeah, I matched with her too, and across 3 different apps already. So I just matched with her for the 4th time.
What does that mean? So, because obviously, I am not back in my day, we didn't have those kind of apps.
I wish you
So,
did.
huh?
I wish you did. Honestly, they're making shit too easy. The problem with Tinder and Bumble, though, Sean, is now mediocre girls, and I'm sorry, mediocre girls are getting really, really hot guys because the really, really hot guys don't want to put in the effort for the hot girls. So now guys that are mediocre have to either settle for much less or they got to put up with bullshit because these girls think they're way hotter than they actually are because they hooked up with those really hot guys.
So that's funny.
Fucked up, but like this is it.
Yeah, this. So you matched this with this girl. I wonder if she listens to the podcast. That'd be sick. Right, because she has your name, right? She could just like
Possibly.
Google you.
Maybe she saw me on YouTube. That's why she keeps on trying to match.
Yeah. So is it like awkward if you match like on another? Like, what is that? I have no clue what you're talking about. So explain it to me like a 5-year-old.
Like the 3rd time I matched.
Explain it to like you would to Leo for him wanting to get on the app. Like when you're trying to explain to him how to get on the app.
Oh, first, Leo, what do you guys do when you're trying to get his attention? Leo. And then as soon as I got his attention, I go, okay, it's fucking hot in here, man. So as soon as I get his attention, I'm telling him, okay, what do you think of this girl? Yeah, like, okay, we got to swipe right. Boom, you matched. Great. Then comes the most awkward thing ever where you got to talk with a complete stranger and keep their interest. Normally, about 85% of the time, we lose the girl's interest within just a moment of sending the message. All of a sudden, you're the most boring guy ever. Because they said, hey, what the fuck are you supposed to say back?
Okay, so it's like you match, then you send the message or they send the message, and it's like, hey.
On Bumble, they have to send the first message.
Okay. So you send, they send, whatever, And then that's where kind of like it just becomes awkward.
If she doesn't give you anything to work with and all she says is hey, then you got to get super creative. This girl on the
You
third
say like,
match,
hey, you, what's up? Is that how
yeah, I'll usually go through their profile and I'll say something like witty. Like one girl was like a yoga instructor, and I'm like, tell me a little bit about yoga. I'm like, what's your favorite yoga pose? And she like went into it, you know. Then I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I'm not even interested. Just wanted
what
to.
about you? You're like, I don't even know how to fucking spell yoga, man. It's just not
So
trying to disrespect yoga. I'm just saying you as far as a you yoga person.
we should get into yoga at some point. Um, so this girl got creative on the third one. This was on Bumble. Messaged me and she goes, "Are we just gonna keep matching on different apps until one of us like asks each other out?" And I ignored it.
Why?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just got busy, man. I didn't mean to ignore the message. I just fucking phone rang. Somebody walked in. Shawarma, Ari, please. So, long story short, I am going to reply, but I'm also going to ask my friends, any of you guys,
Talked to her, met her.
right? Because I don't want to, you know, God knows who had like the 2 a.m. hookup with her.
Yeah.
One of my better looking friends. Now she's trying to find a relationship with me.
Yeah. Like, all right, I'm done with the good looking guys now.
Let me get a sucker. All right. No, that's so yeah. Question for you, Shant, before we get into sort of what I wanted to talk about today. What are your thoughts on Planet Fitness? Have you ever been a member of Planet Fitness? Have you ever gone to a Planet Fitness?
It doesn't. So let me look it up. Hang on. I've been to a lot of gyms. Just want to make sure I got the right one.
The one with purple?
Yeah. I have been to Planet Fitness, and then I walked right out after I went there. So it's not my
Why?
scene. Not to offend anyone here who goes on Planet Fitness, goes to Planet Fitness and loves it, but it just feels, and I'm a little bougie about my gyms, right? I've been working out for a long time. Okay. What am I, 30s? Like 16, 17 years of like working out, you know?
100%.
Like I'm a gym guy. Okay. I've been to multiple gyms. You know, a little bit of class is what I like at my gym, right? Either a little bit of class or a rugged, really like a workout, like heavy gym, right? Like somewhere where there's people throwing around fucking weights, right? Like just
Screaming.
huge fucking dudes, chicks putting more weight than I can. Just like, Jesus, you know?
Tank tops.
Yeah. Which kind of a gym I go to now. I love the gym. So it's like, it's got to be one of the two. And Planet Fitness is nowhere near any of those two, in my opinion. The purple alone tells me everything I need to know.
So they don't have benches. Did you
Really?
know that?
No, because I literally was there for 3 minutes and I left.
They don't have any barbells at all. They don't have any bench. It's all Smith machine.
You know, I used to work at a gym. I just remembered.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Which one? Obviously in New Jersey, right?
Yeah. Front desk kind of sales.
Which gym?
It was a local gym. Actually, no, I don't remember the name, but it was a very short stint.
Can I ask you a question? Which gym do you think has been your favorite thus far?
It's weird. It depends on the phase the phase I'm in. Lifetime Fitness was one of my favorites.
Great gym.
Love it. But the gym I'm going to now is one of my probably more favorite ones, just because it's like, it's just you're motivated to work out, right?
What makes a good gym good, in your opinion?
Okay. So Lifetime has the amenities, right? That's the beauty of Lifetime, the amenities. Okay, you got the pool, you got the sauna, you got the free towels. It's always clean. It's nice. They have the restaurant so you could eat. Gets your food. They have a masseuse there. You pay for all this stuff, but they have daycare, just everything, amenities.
It's
Right?
fucking expensive though.
Yeah. It depends. There's different levels in Lifetime. Like depends which kind of Lifetime. Like the one in Boston is probably going to be like the top platinum level, so it's going to be super expensive, right?
It's expensive, bro. It's like 200 something a month.
Yeah, the one I was going to was like 60-70 bucks a month. It was fucking
That's
awesome.
it?
Yeah, it was awesome. So the gym I'm going to now, the key to a good gym, okay, is, and I don't even know like why we're talking about this, but okay.
This is important shit. What do you mean?
A lot of variety in doing different workouts, right? So like you can't just have a bench, a squat rack, and that's it, right? Like I need variety. I want to do like different workouts, cool workouts, enough cardio machines, enough benches, enough squat racks for everyone. And the key is a gym, unlike Planet Fitness, where you don't have thousands of people on 3 machines, right? Like where it's just super packed, right? And sometimes it's always going to be packed like during the after work and stuff. But so the variety of machines and workout stations and different kinds, right? Like not just like boom, 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 just so many like variations. And when
Like
you come,
hack squat machines.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's the other? The
Machines.
calf extension. The calf with the shoulder pads.
Yeah, I
that
need like
kind of
3. I need 3 calf machines, like 3 different, like minimum.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
I need an incline. I need an incline bench, right? Got to have an incline bench.
The plate loaded decline
Yeah,
machine.
yeah, just a lot of shit. And my new gym has like it's a great place, right? And then you need like the green space, the fake grass area for like the stretching, the doing the pushing, the sled. Like you need that area too. That's super important. That's all I need, man.
I'm with you, man. I go to like 3 gyms. Mondays and Tuesdays, I go to one with Rafi, LA Fitness. Fantastic gym, but it's like super far. It takes me like half an hour to get there.
Yeah.
Like I have to save my like calf exercise for that gym because they have everything. And it's cheap as fuck. It's like $30 a month. Yeah. So it's like, should I just move there? I don't know. Just for the gym? But then I go to like Planet Fitness sometimes because, hear me out on this one. They have the calf extension that's not standing, but it's seated. But it's not like the seated calf where you raise up and down.
Yeah.
You actually go like that.
Yeah.
And then they have a pec deck machine that doesn't just stop here. You could go and you can continue, so you actually get a deeper contraction. Other than that, man, fucking Planet Fitness sucks.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
It's disgusting.
You know what it is good for though? If you have a membership to Planet Fitness, and say you're traveling somewhere, like you went to like Boston.
They're everywhere. Yeah,
bro, they're fucking everywhere, man.
Yeah. What I've done, because obviously I've been to a bunch of gyms in Boston, right? When I come to you guys, like back in the day with soccer, we used to go work out.
I wonder if you ever went to Super Fitness, the yellow t-shirt, yellow sign. Bro, that place was like Gold's Gym.
Yeah, that's where I used to go. It's fucking huge dudes in there. Yeah, like
they had like 160-pound dumbbells.
It was next to what was it called?
Planet Bronze.
Next to that food place.
Food place? Ararat? Chicken?
No, like for workout foods kind of.
Low fat, no fat?
Yeah. Is that place still around?
1999. No, bro. That's fucking crazy.
That place was great.
So they had everything, bro. They had a shrug machine. They had a neck machine. They had a machine where you worked out your neck. How do you even work out your neck? So I'm with you on that. My favorite gym was Planet Fitness, and it's too bad that I never got around to lifting how I'm lifting now. But
Not Planet Fitness.
Huh?
You said your favorite gym is Planet
Sorry,
Fitness.
Super Fitness, not Planet
Okay.
Fitness. Super Fitness. And I'm sorry if I said Planet Fitness before. Their names are so close. Super Fitness was a gym that me and basically all the Armenians from
Yeah.
the '90s used to go there. They shut down in like early mid 2000s, but then I'm on a quest right now, man, to find a really good gym. Maybe I'll post this to my story and find out which gym I should be going to.
Yeah, I like so when I was on a quest because I was going to Lifetime, but it was like 20 minutes and it was just too far for every day. So I went around to a couple of gyms. I found like the smaller local ones are better now than like the Planet Fitness, even LA Fitness. I kind of got over LA Fitness. It was just I wanted because I know you're on that part now. Like if people just fucking working out heavy, man, like just
I love that shit. I like the screaming and like the let's fucking go. Dude, we got this guy at the gym. He yells, bro. But the thing is that it's unacceptable because nobody else does. He yells. He's like, "Yeah, motherfucker," and I'm just like, "Bro, there's nobody else yelling." You know what I mean? There's like
like the
kids.
wrong gym. Yeah, it's like the wrong gym for that.
What are you
My
doing?
gym is next time you come, we'll swing by. You'll love it. So let me give it a
100%.
shout out. Muscle Factory in Tempe, the
Muscle
Muscle
fat.
Factor. So what I was doing, I was looking up like the places Instagrams. They had a really nice Instagram. So look on their Instagram. You see the people. There's a lot of bodybuilders there, men and women. So they're a lot of times like flexing, doing their pose with the coach there. So you get to like, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, it's insane.
I love that.
I really like it. You should definitely check out their Instagram, man. You see,
Let's check it out.
yeah. There's like legit bodybuilders who go there, man, and swing by for like a workout. Like they're in town for 2 days. They go there, you know?
IFBB pros
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I love that shit so much, man.
Yeah.
We got a couple good gyms too, apparently in Boston, but they're in like Boston.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
It's gonna be too far for you.
yeah. So, little bit of an interesting topic. We have talked about very, very lightly, and I'm kind of disappointed because it was almost clickbaity. Side hustles. We talked about it back during the pandemic, back in April of 2020. But the title of the podcast was "Should I Start a Side Hustle?" But the meat of the conversation was just that. It was vegan, not so much meat.
Mhm.
And I really, really would love to talk about it now, given my current circumstance. And I'll just be flat out honest with you. If somebody were to tell me how to start a side hustle 5 years ago, I would have sat the fuck down and listened to everything they had to say if I knew what I knew now and that person was telling me what I know now about myself.
Okay.
This may not work for everybody, but if you find yourself agreeing with a lot of the shit that I have to say, then I guess you probably want to hear this.
Well, you've
Um,
created a couple of successful side hustles.
yes, but their success does not directly translate to my personal well-being, being successful, and my mental health not taking an impact from it. And that's the
Mhm.
whole point. Sustainability is the name of the game when you're talking about, your day-to-day job and your side hustle both working with each other, not one getting more attention than the other, and it constantly being a back and forth sort of thing. So I want you to tell me a little bit about your side hustle ideas that have been coming and going, fleeting, basically, given whatever your work circumstances have been. Tell me a little bit more about what's going through your head. You don't have to tell me the exact business if you don't
Well,
want to.
no, yeah, I will. So I know like last year, was it last year or the year before during, I don't even remember the past 2 years, we were like, oh, we should have an Amazon drop ship store, right? Was it drop ship? Just drop
Yeah.
ship, not Amazon. Yeah, drop ship. And I think we were just too busy at the time to really put any focus to it. So that was an idea. Obviously, so I try to do like, with my business partner, the past 2 years, we've been doing like 1-2 flips a year, right? That's a side business, right? Side gig, hustle, I guess you could say, where we don't, because we're both super busy with work. So the other day, it's funny you asked this. This came up randomly, but the other day I'm reading the Phoenix Business Journal, okay, and I see something about New York pizza, like New York style pizza in the Phoenix Business. So I open up the link, I start reading it, and they're looking for franchisees in the Phoenix area. They have stuff in Texas, they have stuff in Florida, and they're trying to expand and things. So I go to the website, I'm looking, sign up here for more info on, being a franchisee. Send it to Betty. I'm like, what do you think? She's like, what are you talking about right now? She's like, you want to run a pizzeria? I was like, well, first of all, I know pizza. I love pizza. I've worked at a pizzeria. Second, I don't have time to run a pizzeria, but I was like, what if I get some info to see if I could leverage it to make it a side hustle where like I could have systems in place where I'm not there all day. Cause like a restaurant, you got to be there. Right. Like you have to be there. So Betty was just like, dude. And this is what happens with me a lot, right? If I'm if I'm slow that day and I'm just like, oh shit, I don't have anything going on. I see something like that. Yeah. I see something like that. I'm like, let's start a business.
You couldn't just fucking mow the lawn? You start a business?
Well, it was the same thing with the podcast, bro. It was literally that day. I was kind of like, just had nothing to do. And we are talking. I'm like, dude, we should just start or you said it. We're like, we should just do a podcast. I was like,
no, yeah. It was you. It was you. But I was completely for it. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're starting a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just, and we've been going strong with it. So I have to taper that. But even though I think I would be a really,
It's been like 3 years.
Yeah. I do have to taper it, but I think granted, I'd be a really good pizzeria owner.
Why do you say that? Tell me a little bit about why you think. I'm curious. Why you think you would make a good pizzeria owner? I'm like, this is interesting to me. This is the shit that I really really like talking about. Not cars, not kebab. Tell me a little bit about your thought process.
Okay, couple of things, right? Because I've worked at pizzerias. Okay,
I remember that. Was one of them? No, it wasn't Maria's. Never mind.
No, Angelina's.
Angelina's. Okay.
Yeah, and Hackensack, great pizzeria, guys. By the way, like great pizza place. If you guys are in Hackensack, New Jersey, swing by. So why would I be good? So being around other pizzerias, because so when I was working there, we used to have some activities after the pizzeria was open. There'd be other business owners there, other pizzeria owners, and you'd be playing some games, let's just say, right? We had our poker place there. Okay. And just talking to a lot of them, I realized how unorganized and how little of systems they had as far as like tracking anything. It was all like, just like on napkins type shit. Right. And they're,
That's how it works sometimes on paper bags.
Yeah. And so I feel like I'd be really good with systems, processes, and making it a well-oiled machine. Obviously, I'm not trying to disrespect the game as far as like, oh yeah, I'll be great at it. It's so easy. I just feel like if it's a franchise that's successful and I'm able to ask some questions on how they're successful, why they're successful, and what the stuff is, obviously like they're marketing it, they're doing all these things. So it'd be a bit easier. So yeah, I mean, that's why I think it'd be a home run. And I know pizza, right? I love pizza. And not that that's an important factor, but I just feel like I would be really good in the back end to be able to run a well-oiled machine.
I see. So you think that you would be a good conductor, not so much that you'd be a good cashier or pizza flip. It's
no, I don't want to touch I'm not going to be good at touching a pizza.
Understood. Makes a lot of sense. When you say a well-oiled machine, you've been you've been at the pizzeria on like a busy Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Guys just flinging shit around, just
Receipts fucking just like, yeah.
phones like ring orders being written down on a like a fucking wet napkin.
Yeah. 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 And
Yeah,
things
it's
running
tough.
out. Uh,
The machine gets jammed sometimes, man.
yeah. The one guy calls out sick. Your only guy who's supposed to make the pizza calls out sick. Um,
All of a sudden, you're there trying to figure out how to turn on the fucking oven. Fuck, man. Why didn't I figure this shit out?
yeah, call Frank. Ask him how to turn on the oven, please. Call him. Somebody.
This is real. This is
I know it is. You probably deal with this shit every day, and I used to deal with that.
the burner. The burner wouldn't turn on the bottom of our oven. Here I am stuck on an 8-hour time difference or a 9-hour time difference calling my dad in Armenia.
That's the real shit, right? Like
Turn on.
he's like, "Did you click the button in the back?"
Grab the torch. You have to turn it off. I'm like, it's not working. So much unnecessary stress, man.
So much unknown stuff that happens, especially those Friday, Saturdays. It's a fucking big game, Super Bowl Sunday, this, that. Dude, I've seen it. I've experienced it. I'm not saying it's easy at all.
No, it's not easy.
No.
So you know what's funny is that I'm actually in the middle of writing. I'm getting all of our stuff written down. I'm trying to actually compile the book, if you will, for our business. All the recipes, the vendors, the processes, maybe a set schedule of stuff that we do. I'm trying to compile that into an actual book and PDF. So at any point, if a new person were to come, they could just flip the page and just figure it out. Who we call to fix our fridges.
Yeah, yeah.
All that shit is going to be in there. I don't like this. I like a well-oiled machine just as much as you do. With the restaurant business, though, I feel like it's a lot different than a side business, a typical, a regular side business like an Amazon store or whatnot, because the potential for that business to jam up at the wrong time is huge. And imagine you got a problem at the restaurant, but you're also in the middle of doing some stuff with clients that could create a potential issue that would get in the way of a sale, that would get in the way of business. Yeah, they'd probably be understanding, but like the frequency of situations like this coming up may start.
It's every day.
Yeah. And it may start to create some anxiety or some avoidance in you to wanting to do showings during a particular time of day because you're worried a problem might happen there. So
do you think a client would understand if I'm like, hey, I got to run. Actually, our oven is broken at the pizzeria. Like, the fuck?
And then you got to go home, change out of your work shirt, pants situation to put on a shitty t-shirt. And, it's like, it's practical.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And that's why I bet he was trying to be like, dude, like, come on. Where are you going with this? And I get it, right? So it's probably not going to happen. It just really interested me, right? I want to get more info still. I just want to learn about it, right? Probably not going to end up doing it, but I do want to learn about it. And I want to see what process they have in place. Now, why would I do that, right? What if there's an instance in 5 years, another opportunity comes up? At least I have some info now, right? Like what's the baseline that I should be looking at, right? But
You're
no,
really
I want to hear
in starting a pizza shop.
Just anything.
Okay. So question for you. Do you think that it would be a better idea to start an online business?
Yeah, 100%. That's yeah.
And as far as how much time you'd invest in it, I mean, before anything goes on autopilot, time is being spent on the thing. But the way that I typically was operating mine was completely wrong.
So tell me
Uh,
about your side hustle. What happened? What's going on? Like why this conversation came up? Like what if
yeah.
you want to share one of your side hustles, what was it?
So BAC, not the YouTube channel, the way it is right now, but the consulting and negotiation company fried the shit out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Before, how it used to work, I was very, very ambitious, and I have really, really bad ADHD. So when I'm into something, I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I start to get really, really nervous about something, or something really has been hard to pull off, I start to avoid doing that thing. So what happened was, at first I was so into it, but I also had the restaurant. So what I was doing was I was multitasking to a very, very high degree. Juggling, basically, not so much
Mm-hmm.
multitasking, but doing both things at the same time, but going from one to the other and back and forth, creating a very, very volatile mental state where if you were to try to distract me, I would snap. Um, I couldn't be bothered with anything else except for doing BAC stuff, whether that be, you know, having a conversation with a customer, calling a dealer, hammering out a deal, and this was all while I was doing the restaurant stuff. So eventually, what happened was that because there were so many distractions with the restaurant, and it was getting in the way of the BAC stuff, one would have to suffer. Where I have to go and take a call for BAC or talk to a dealer, I would completely leave the
Yeah,
restaurant,
restaurant.
and vice versa. Like, oh, I'm at the restaurant, but I'm actively busy, maybe even with a customer or something like that, and I'm getting a call back from a dealer. I would have to ignore that call and then further delay my whole process. Eventually, this caused major stress, maybe like 2 or 3 years, where now I couldn't do anything until I left the restaurant for that day. And I try to get as much done as possible before or after. So it was very, very clear that running the side hustle during the main hustle was highly inefficient. It's great that it was successful, but the moment that it got a little bit too successful was when shit started really crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of the most important things to sort of consider, going into this discussion a little bit further. At what point during the day do you think that you're going to be running your side hustle? Because if it is during your main job, you're probably going to run into a ton of issues.
Yeah, and that's why the pizzeria is not a realistic thing, right? It's just it was that day, and I just piqued my interest. But yeah, for me, I think um, side hustle to be a true side hustle, it's something that you could focus on truly during, I mean, after work hours. Your main hustle, your main business, your main. Let's say you have a 9 to 5. It's got to be after that.
Now, what would motivate somebody, you think, to start a side hustle? Is it sheer boredom, or do you think it's just a lack of income? Do you think that the lack of income is way more of the reason for a lot of people to start a side hustle,
I
as
think
opposed
so.
to, okay?
Yeah.
So in your situation, Shant, I can imagine, bro, it's not a lack of income. Like the real estate business, as far as how you're involved in it, it has certainly treated you well thus far. I think it's more of a boredom thing that sort of hit you. However, with that being said,
I mean, extra income would be nice.
when you say that, but with the amount of effort that it takes to start a side hustle, what is worth it to you in
Mm.
your perspective for yourself? What would that side hustle need to be producing in order for it to be worth it for you and your time? Can you
Yeah.
give me a number here?
So yeah, and that's a question we should ask, right? What is so a couple things. I think these are a couple questions if you're trying to start a side hustle. One is how many hours a day or week is this going to am I going to have to put into this side hustle? Right? That's a fair question. How many hours a day or week?
Yeah.
So you have to give me that time first. How many hours would I have to spend? And I'll tell you how much I need to make. So how many hours a week am I going to spend on my side hustle?
Well, let's say you spend about 3 hours a day
So
for
15 hours.
yeah, 5 hours, 5 hour, sorry, 5 days a week times 3 hours. Say one
15,
day, say it's like a Tuesday, you weren't able to because like you're really busy.
10 to 12 hours a week.
Okay.
Well, 12 times 4. Um, 12 times 4. That's 48 hours a week, a month, right? Um, I would have to make at least like 2,500 a month.
That's it?
Like starting,
Okay.
because I calculated that to be $50 an hour.
Do you think that you'd get there in the first couple months or first, let's say
No, no,
first 6 months to a year? So you
no.
start an e-commerce business and you put everything you got into it in terms of like
Mental.
however much you can. And it's a really low cost startup. Like you're just really just it's website plus drop shipping plus I'll say it was that drop shipping website. But you're putting in the time. Bro, I feel like it would take at least a year or two for it to start producing numbers like that. Would you if you knew it was going to take about a year or two, would you invest all that time into your side hustle?
To make 2,500 a month. So like a year I put into it 15 hours, 10 hours a week to in a month. I mean, in a year to be making 2,500 a month.
Yeah.
It would probably have to be a little bit more than 2,500 a month.
And understand, say it's like less, say it's like 15 grand
Yeah.
for the year for the first couple of years, which is fine because you don't let's say you don't even know what you should expect from the side hustle for the first couple of years. But what would be the end goal for that side hustle? Would it be in the hundreds of thousands or would it be a side hustle that's like say it would be a nice 50 to 100,000? What is a solid side hustle income is my question. I guess I'm
That's a
trying
good
to.
question. So it for me, it's gonna be different, right? For some people, it's going to be they want to replace that for their income and make that their full-time hustle, right? I probably don't want to make that into my full-time hustle, right? Because real estate's going to be my number one for a long time. What would it I think so it depends, right? If it's a in 3 years, it's a well-oiled machine, it's a side hustle making me 30K a year, right? I'm okay with that because then I could do another side hustle because this one's running now, hopefully, without a lot of attention, rip and duplicate, do another one for another third, and boom, you just start, you know, going more and more. So at minimum have to be like 30 to 40K, I think, for it to really to make sense if I'm not going to be working much into it.
Okay, fair enough. Um, now that's very very good to know. It's like almost like don't expect unless you have some crazy idea where you think you could make your side hustle like a few $100,000 business. That to me doesn't sound like a side hustle. That to me that sounds like a full time investment of your time. Now, question for you is that how would you approach your side hustle? Would you be socially all in, invested in marketing your side hustle, or would you approach it sort of from an anonymous perspective where you're not trying to develop an identity of having multiple, having your hands in multiple different um, pots, jars, whatever the fuck, whatever.
It depends. If it's not going to be one of my main pillars of business, then no, I'm not gonna promote it because then I'm just gonna be that annoying person that's trying to sell a lot of shit, right? So no, if it's gonna be just a side hustle where it's just a little, extra, whatever, then yeah, I'm not gonna be marketing it like crazy on my social media and stuff.
Now, you know that a lot of people, the way that side hustles get very, very successful is that a lot of people have to market it to their friends. Now, the way that shit is going, it's become a lot easier to market your side hustle without having to do that. My issue with that is that to some degree, you've got to create you've got to create a distinction, like what how much time is this side hustle going to get, and if it does get very, very successful, do you leave whatever you've built, or do you try to find a way? Like, you got to create sort of a long-term strategy
Yes.
in how you want to approach your side hustle, because if it gets very, very successful, for instance, my YouTube channel, I'm in a situation right now where I may have to pick.
Mm.
It's either one or the other, and I'll be brutally honest. I can never imagine getting rid of or stopping me doing Ani. That's just, given the pandemic, given everything that we saw with the car industry and the food industry. The food industry is a safe bet for the next 100 years. I don't care what anybody says. The car
Our
industry,
industry's changing.
dynamically, like right now, it's changing.
Tesla had a lot to do with it. Carvana, with the way you could buy cars, and um, so yeah.
So it's scary. It's very, very scary. You can't make a decision right now for the long term, but at the same time, you may need to. Now, starting a side hustle nowadays is a little bit of a concern, because there are so many different companies coming out with so many weird different. There's an app that I just saw today that you can basically, if you're trying to go somewhere and you want to know if somebody's there or not, so that they can tell you a particular detail, like what's the vibe in there right now. There's an app or a website for pretty much everything. So
Mm.
my problem now with side hustles is that you have to set yourself apart from it. And the way that people have been doing that is by putting a face to the actual company, being a more personal side hustle, being a service based side hustle. I guess if you're okay with putting your face as the side hustles, the brand basically, then to some degree that for me is no longer a side hustle. That's become a main hustle.
Mhm.
So approaching it is sort of like a calculated decision.
I think asking these questions before you start a side hustle is super important. Like, what's my vision, long term vision of this? Do I want this to supplement my income, or do I want it to take over my full time income? What's my point that I need to be making? Like, what's my minimum that I want to be making to like make it worth my time? I think these are all questions we have to ask.
Now, say you're somebody that, sort of like me, early 30s or maybe late 20s, and you haven't done the big things yet. You haven't gotten married, you haven't had kids yet. Is it a better time to start now, or is it a better time to start after you've done all these things, maybe had your first, second kid, and they're still little, when is the correct time? Because I mean, it's not like I'm getting any younger, but at the same
Yeah.
time, maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to start it, while I'm dating somebody
So
or while I'm, in a relationship with somebody that I think I'm going to get married to soon.
I'm gonna give you the counter argument.
Please
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Um, because I was just thinking about like Patrick David, this is what he would probably say, right? Um, if you're depends. If you're in an industry, if you're in a business, like it really depends. If you're kind of just like um have a job and you want to have a side hustle, I think, yeah, these are all good things. But let's say you do have a business, right? And you want to start a side hustle. And this is where I have to like catch myself, or Betty catches me from like doing the side shit sometimes. Um, is it smart to do a side hustle if you're running your own business, or is it smarter to focus all your energy into the current industry you're in business and allocate all of your time to that rather than something else? Because you kind of did that, right? Like,
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like I feel like to some degree everybody gets a little bit bored at some point, and they feel like they can take on a lot more than what they should be, and then something else comes along to make them not bored anymore, but now all of a sudden they've invested themselves into a side hustle and they're kind of wishing maybe they they thought this through a little bit better. In my case, I actually needed the supplemental income,
Mm,
but to my surprise, both businesses started to demand more of me, and it was exhausting being that successful.
and two industries.
Yeah. My problem with somebody wanting to start a side hustle out of boredom, as opposed to just the sheer need for supplemental income, is that boredom could have been solved by taking up a hobby. Um, because it's sad. It's sad to see somebody that wants to fill up their time by working more instead of sort of taking care of whatever they're primarily involved in to 100% efficacy, and then taking care of themselves. I think that people nowadays, they want to be these go-getter types and whatnot, but they don't find out until it's too late that you can't do all of that and expect to leave um, unharmed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people like Gary Vee, people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they've got a lot of other people working under them to be able to do all this shit. The typical person is not doing this and, going into the office from, 10 to 3 and then letting all of his assistants take care of everything. The typical person is literally losing sleep, losing quality sleep, and constantly stressed out from it. And unless you've got something absurd that you're working on, it's very possible that you'll burn out from a side hustle, especially if it's something that you're doing out of boredom
Yeah,
and
it's
not
not
out of
like what I was
necessity.
trying to do out of boredom is not the right at all. It's like the worst thing you could do, like you're saying. I think it should be you want to make some extra money, you need it, you know, or you're trying to get out of the current situation you're in and you want to do a side hustle to make that into your main thing. Right. I think other than that, I think you're just asking for trouble. Right. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Now, the other thing is that, okay, say you definitely need the supplemental income. Um, do you think do you think that by starting a side hustle, it's almost like you have the reason why you may have a competitive edges is that you actually really need the money, and at this point, like you'll do whatever it takes, or do you think that that may not actually be enough? Like you actually need to be doing other things in order to make it sort of like sustainable for yourself. Like, for example, I needed the supplemental income at the time. It wasn't just sheer boredom.
Hmm.
And what got me very, very motivated at the time was I wanted to upgrade my car. I wanted to get a new Rolex. I wanted to save up so I could buy a house. And that was a lot of the motivation behind me wanting to put in extra time and hours because I knew, if I did this deal, I would be able to get like an extra like couple grand this month from these couple deals. But then when it came to a point where, okay, like it's not even the money anymore. I just want my time back.
So
So
right
I
now,
think if supplemental income if I think it might be the separating factor that makes a side hustle very successful is like if you don't need the supplemental income, you're fucked.
yeah. So would you consider your YouTube channel a side hustle right now?
No,
Yeah.
it's a full time business. The way that I look at it is a full time business that's not receiving my full time um,
Attention.
focus on right now because I literally have zero.
Yeah, because
I've
like,
given my YouTube channel less. I've given this podcast more attention this week than my YouTube channel.
and you make a lot more money on your YouTube channel than on this
Looking at the
podcast.
tax return right now, I am fucked. I'm literally fucked. But I
Well,
mean, hey, it's great.
the good thing is, see, this is why I love the podcast because I got fucked with my tax return too this year. This podcast makes us zero money, so we pay zero in taxes.
Yeah, that's the
Hopefully,
whole
I
thing.
take a loss for the microphone I had to buy.
Oh fuck! I forgot to deduct that. Shit. Anyway, so yeah, it's like guys, I really got to say, man, starting a side hustle that's out of boredom or curiosity. Hate to say it, man, it's like a one-way ticket to disaster. But if you got supplemental income needs, I feel like that's a very
Good
very
place to
good.
be.
Yeah, it's a good motivating factor to get your side hustle successful enough. But if you're thinking to yourself, for how long, and is this something that I can back out of without giving up a little bit of my like social credibility? These are major things to consider when you're putting your name on your side hustle.
No, I agree, man. I think it's really good advice. I never thought of it that way. Thanks, and you didn't even know I was thinking about starting a pizzeria just the other day.
No idea.
My mind goes crazy sometimes, bro. Like, just
I can't tell you that it's. Listen, from time to time, I think about side hustles of myself, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, I can barely think straight right now. Um, I gotta say, Gary V got me into that whole side hustle thing, garage sales, and this. I didn't have to do what I had to do, but like I managed to somehow become successful in that. Um, but
oh yeah, my
I'm paying the
sports
price
cards.
for it.
Yeah, sports cards. I got into sports cards as a little side hustle. Um, Made some good money on it.
So this is one of the questions I have now. So you spent some time in sports cards. It was a novelty, right? So you got bored and you're like, fuck it, let me just fuck around. Why did you stop?
Good question. So I paused. I didn't stop.
Okay.
Uh, I saw a trend of the market shifting, and I saw weirdly the prices were going to start dropping. Right. So I sold a couple of my high end cards that I had, not like super, I'm not talking super high end. Like one was like 2000, one was like 800, like a couple of those kind of cards that I didn't think would sustainably stay at that price. And I just kept a couple of cards, right? So I sold those. I made some good money. I basically made like 3 grand, 4 grand, and basically paid for all the cards that I have now. That's just sitting there, right? So now that I've seen a little bit of a good dip in the market, now I'm looking for another card or two to purchase. Actually,
I see.
But I do enjoy it as a hobby. It's not so much as of a side hustle. It is, but it's also a really cool hobby for me.
So this is the hobby. You're not under like a specific timeline or time frame. Like you're not responding to anybody.
No, no, no. It's a hobby that I could make money in, basically.
I want to I want to talk at some point in the future about what some amazing side hustles would be
Mm,
that wouldn't require so much mental processing. Like basically in a way to like not drain you
yeah,
mentally. I'd love to start to think about it, not in depth, not like I'm giving away business ideas, but shit that's just this is where you want to be. This is the space that you want to be in. That
yeah.
could sort of run on autopilot. We'll discuss it more in the future. Next episode, I want to take a deeper dive into Tinder and Bumble, though. Maybe let you
I
know
should
how
get one of the agents on my team that wants to get on. He's into that space pretty well.
Bumble,
One of those, I don't know, Tinder, Bumble, out of probably all of them. Who knows?
Hinge, Doorknob, um, whatever. Yeah, they're
MySpace,
all MySpace. MySpace is also a good one. Uh,
AIM, Instant
Armenians
Messenger.
Connect.
Yeah, Armenians Connect, Instant Messenger.
Yeah,
Those are all
World
good ones.
Lounge. They're all out there.
I used to be on World Lounge. Yeah, it was meeting girls from Sweden and shit that I'm never gonna see.
Montreal.
Yeah,
It's a good website.
long story there. Me and your brother got into a physical altercation because of uh, what was it called? You just said it.
World
World
Lounge.
World Lounge. Yeah,
This is at Olympics.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. You guys are troublemakers, man.
yeah. They were like 7 years older than us. Started picking fights with us, trying to like pick on us. Come on,
I remember
wrong
that.
guys, wrong guys.
Yeah. Wrong ellipses. Fuck with us.
Our whole weekend was like that was it. This like we're going
Yeah,
into this.
nothing else. We're going to the gym. We're gonna get a tan just so we look good when we fuck these kids.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the story, but ask your brother. He it's a funny story, man. And then there was like years later it came out that like they hit your brother or something, and your brother got so he's like, no, I hit them. He's like, they did not hit like, and he got like the rumor started going around that he got hit.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Blow
was
to
like,
me,
next time we see them, gotta get them.
motherfuckers. Change
So
the
yeah,
rules.
yeah, good times being 17, 16, 17, and yeah.
Well, all right, Sean.
All right, man. That's all I got for you.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, everyone.